Hello, my name is Darlene Fika, and welcome to Speak Your Truth podcast. I myself have a father wound, and I have been on a healing journey for the past few years. And my childhood abuse started when I was 5 years old, and it went into my teen years until I was about 13 years old. My dad was trying to sexually and physically abuse me. My life was, and the shortest way to put it, my life went through a lot of ups and downs. A lot of topsy-turvy things happened in my life. I was married twice. I suffered PTSD, trauma from the childhood abuse that I've received. So right now I'm on a spiritual journey, if you will, where I am now married for the third time. And God told me, he said, enough's enough. You've got to get the healing. You've got to heal from the past. See, I've been living in the past for a very, very long time. And having PTSD, and if any of you that are watching this actually suffer from it, you know what PTSD can do. It keeps you stuck. You're stuck in the flashbacks, the triggers, and things that have happened from your past. And that's what's happened to me. I spent many years being stuck looking back. I met my third husband, and we met back in January of 2022. And neither one of us knew at that time that we were both going to be on a spiritual journey together. But that is exactly what God intended for this. He put us both on a spiritual journey to be able to work well enough together to be able to heal individually to work together. Because God has a bigger mission for us. God's mission for us is for us to help others just like you who suffer from PTSD, trauma from child abuse, and my husband himself suffers from OCD. So now try to put someone with OCD and someone who has PTSD together and try to make that work. It's been challenging. It's been very, very challenging to say the least. So as my husband and I got together, we both wanted to get closer with the Lord together. And I will say by far, this is the first relationship that I've ever been into where we both have been encouraging one another to consistently get closer to God. My prior two marriages, I would say my first husband, he wasn't a godly man. My second husband, he had just been converted into Christianity, so he had a lot of work and a lot of improvement for himself to be able to say that he was getting closer to the Lord. He had a drinking problem, and other than that, I will say he was a very decent human being. He just had some demons that he had to fight with his drinking. Now, my husband, both of us, we both have been through a lot. This is both of our third marriages, so we both are on a journey together to get the healing that we both need to heal individually as well as together as a couple. Back in 2020, I have a sister, her name is Dawn, and she passed away in 2019. She died of diabetes. And so that was a very, very sad time in my life, losing my sibling. I also lost my mom and my dad all in the same year, the same span. So it was a very, very difficult time for me. I hadn't met my husband, Tony, yet, but in early of 2020, I had a dream. And my sister, the one that passed away, Dawn, she was in my dream. And she told me in my dream that I needed to find my passport because I would be going to Israel. Now, you can only imagine what I was thinking. Like, why am I going to Israel? What the heck am I going to Israel for? I mean, I just thought that was just so bizarre. I want to go out of the country, and I would love to go to Switzerland, and I would love to go to see Ireland and England, but I guess I just didn't imagine, like, my first going out of the country trip would be going to Israel. Now, I love the Lord. Don't get me wrong. I love the Lord. But Israel was never one of my first choices, I would say, to say that I would want to go and visit. So again, I just never would have imagined that that would have been something that I would want to do, per se. There's always a lot of fighting in Israel. They're always at war, as you know. So it took me by surprise when this dream. So now, that was in 2020. Now, ahead, 2 years from there, I meet my husband, Tony. We're dating. And he's driving home one day, and he hears this ad on the radio. He hears this Christian station saying, travel to Israel. They're putting on this trip to Israel, and they're looking for people that want to go. So he gets off work. He comes to me and he tells me, he says, hey, you're not going to believe this. You're really not going to believe that dream that you had with your sister Dawn about going to Israel. He said, I would listen to this advertisement on the Christian station that I listened to about saying, tour Israel. And we were like, what? We both just really thought that that was a sign and that we really needed to take this trip. So we did. We signed up for the trip to go to Israel in May of 2023. Now, please understand that I think a lot of people, when they go to Israel, they automatically assume that this is going to be this spiritual trip, that they're looking for something to happen when they go there, maybe some message. Because I know I did. I was looking all over the place for some spiritual message for me. And, you know, we were there for 10 days, and I didn't find a spiritual message for myself while I was there. And I was really disappointed. But it was such a beautiful trip, and it was the most amazing trip I've ever taken in my life. And I can't wait to go back someday. But to say that I felt that there was a specific message just for me, I couldn't find it while I was there. So on the way back home, on the flight back home, I'm sick with COVID. I have a high fever, and 3 other women from our tour, same thing. They had fevers as well. So we get back home. I'm recovering from COVID, and maybe a week or 2 goes by, and all of a sudden, God puts it on my heart to write a book. And I'm like, huh? Write a book? I don't know how to write. I'm not a writer. And he says, yes, you're going to write a book, and you're going to tell your story. You're going to tell the world your story about your child abuse, your trauma, your PTSD, and you are going to use your voice. You are going to tell the world your story and give that testimony to the world. And you know what? That's exactly what I did. I sat down for almost 2 months and I wrote my book. And it was very healing, to say the least. It was hard. It was challenging because, like I said, I'm not a writer. But it totally took me to the very beginning of my life. And I could not believe where God took me to in all the places of this story that he made me remember. Just the little details of things that he had me remember chapter by chapter. And I literally read each chapter to my husband as I finished each chapter because he didn't know my story like that. And I had to, every day he came home from work, I read it to him, and I got, showed him how far I got and what part I got to. And sometimes I was crying, and sometimes I was really angry. And I mean, there was just so many different things that I was going through with writing this book. But I believe that's what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to start my healing. And so from that point on, I was going to publish the book, but something told me, no, not yet. It's not ready yet. This is not the right time. So I laid it down. I didn't publish it. Now here we are in 2026. I'm now a licensed barber. I went to school. I've always wanted to cut hair, and I started cutting hair back in '99, but I didn't finish school. And after I finished this book, something told me to go to barber school and finish up my hours, and that's what I did. And I've been a licensed barber, really enjoying cutting hair, really enjoying conversing with my customers, really enjoying conversing about going to Israel and just telling so much stories about that trip. Because I have a picture on my mirror at my station with that picture of Israel, and a lot of people would ask about it. And it gave it a very good opportunity for me to converse with them about how amazing that trip was in my life. So now, this year, I was able to finish up my book with one last chapter. And I finished the book. The book is now in publishing. It's with a publisher. It's going through the editing process. And it made me realize that that trip to Israel, while I was there, not while I was there, I didn't feel this spiritual, whatever I was looking for spiritually to sort of come over me and tell me like why I was there. That didn't happen until recently. And God titled my book for me by me going to Israel. And so I would have never given my book this title had I not taken that trip. But when you have PTSD, when you have flashbacks and you're being triggered, those flashbacks keep you stuck. They send you into a spiral. And that's what it did to me in my life. It kept me stuck for a long time, for many years, because I would look back and look back and look back at the memories, look back at the abuse, and I would stay stuck in that spiral constantly. And so I was able to name my book, Once a Pillar of Salt, to God Setting Me Free. And that pillar of salt is exactly what happened in the Bible in the Old Testament. When God was getting ready to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he told Lot's wife not to look back. And because she still looked back, he turned her into a pillar of salt. And see, that's what happens when we look back. We look back and we get stuck. And that's what happened in my life. I was stuck for a very long time. And because God's been sending me on this healing journey, he's showing me how to get unstuck. He's showing me how to use my voice to talk to others and to also help them get unstuck. Also help them to get on their healing journey. I'm going to tell you, I'm not healed yet. I'm not healed, but I'm getting there. And I want to encourage you that if you're going through this same journey yourself, if you're finding that you're getting stuck or you've been stuck and you don't know how to get out of that cycle, I'm going to tell you right now, what worked for me was lifting it to the Lord. And it's a commitment. It's something that you have to do each and every single day. You have to lift it to the Lord. God told me that not only do I have to speak about my trauma, and remember, my family didn't want me talking about this. They didn't want me talking about the abuse because they didn't like the way it made the family look. And they didn't like it being talked about. They didn't want anybody else having an opinion about what was going on in my life and my childhood with my father. But God said, no, you're going to talk about it. Oh boy, are you going to talk about it. You are going to write a book and you are going to be out there helping others with the same exact situation as you. They need to talk about it. They need to get it out. They need to get healing. And that's what I'm doing. I want to help you find your voice and to help you lift it to God so that you can start your healing journey. And I'm also here to tell you, it isn't going to be some quick fix. It takes time. It takes time to get healed. But once you make the commitment to start the healing journey, I can assure you, if you continue to lift it to God every single day, he is going to put the right people, the right ears in front of you so that you can talk about it and release it to him so he can take that burden from you. You also need to forgive on this journey. Forgiveness is a very big deal. You have to forgive for you. Forgiveness is for you. And once you're able to do that, that will help you to move forward. It won't keep you stuck. So if you're listening to my video today, we're going to continue talking more and more and more in every episode about this journey and about different situations and things that occurred in my life and different scenarios that happened and how I was able to work through them. And my hope is I'll be able to help you too. So if you're watching this episode today, my hope for you is that you'll be able to start your healing journey. Give it a chance. Stay committed. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it too. May God bless you.